Week 8, Cowboys, 49ers, Sunday Night Football. Two teams that are very injured. Two teams that are struggling. Two teams coming off games that were terrible. These are teams that historically have been great rivals, but that is a thing of the past. The 49ers and Cowboys have not had very many meaningful games over the last 20 years, really. More recently, you had the two playoff games, which the 49ers both won, and the 49ers blew the Cowboys out last year in Sunday Night Football at Levi's. So it's not a rivalry. The 49ers have won the last 3 games. It is a historical rivalry. The Cowboys had a bye week, and their last game was at home where they lost to the Lions 47-9. Complete humiliation. The 49ers lost to the Chiefs again, 28-18. The final score wasn't embarrassing, but if you watch the game as a 49ers fan, at times it was an embarrassing loss. Now, the major question coming into Sunday night's game is who's playing? The Cowboys appear to be without Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, bland on their defense. The 49ers, we already know Ayuk is out for the season. McCaffrey, of course, is not going. And there are a number of questionable players. Jordan Mason is questionable. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. Injuries. Certainly not the game that NBC wanted, the NFL wanted for a Sunday night game. But regardless, they know there are going to be so many watching for these two great franchises that have so much in common. Both have been stuck on 5 Super Bowls. The 49ers got their 5th. They were the first in 94, and then the following year the Cowboys got their 5th in 95, and neither of them have been able to break through to get that 6th. The 49ers have been there so many times, right at the end of the championship game, multiple Super Bowls, couldn't get done. The Cowboys haven't even been to a Super Bowl since 95. They haven't even been to a conference title game since 95. They both had the same record in Super Bowls. They're 5-3. They both have 2 great Hall of Fame quarterbacks that won multiple Super Bowls. Cowboys, Roger Staubach, and Troy Aikman, 49ers, Joe Montana, Steve Young. Great head coaches. When you consider Landry and Jimmy Johnson, Bill Walsh, George Seifert, who should at least get serious Hall of Fame consideration. That's another video for another time. But who's playing? We know who the quarterbacks are going to be in there, and there are a few quarterbacks in the NFL that come together in a matchup like this who are under more pressure. Dak Prescott is the Cowboys quarterback. He's under the spotlight more than any quarterback in the NFL. He's under more pressure. He's critiqued, criticized more than anyone. Brock Purdy has been under a lot of criticism because many feel he's overrated, or many just in the media feel he's overhyped, or they just don't want to admit he's as good as he's been for being Mr. Relevant, the last pick in his draft class. Now, both of them are struggling. Dak's had his good moments, but he's had his bad games. Purdy's had some very good games, but he's had some very bad games. And this past game against the Chiefs, he had a very depleted receiving group, and the depth chart, they're down to receivers 4, 5, and 6. Even with that, I'd consider it the worst game that he's played. He had the game against the Ravens on Christmas last year. You could excuse an interception or two. This was just a bad game. A really bad game for him. And I'm not just picking the 49ers because I'm a 49ers fan, but the 49ers do well against the Cowboys for two simple reasons. One, they run the ball well on offense, and the Cowboys do not stop the run on defense. And I'll give a third reason, because the 49ers are more physical than the Dallas Cowboys. As long as Jordan Mason can go, and they have a weapon or two, meaning George Kittle or Deebo Samuel, I think that's going to be enough. The team that can run the ball, that would be the 49ers. The team that has a healthier all-around defense. 49ers defense is far, far from what it has been. They are not a dominant group anymore. They're an average defense, yet they still have Nick Bosa playing at a very high level. He may not be registering a lot of sacks, but you just need to watch the games themselves, that he's constantly getting pressures, hits on the quarterback. And Fred Warner's the best. Best off-ball middle linebacker in the game, and it's still a solid secondary. And the 49ers only really have one concern with the Cowboys. It's not that Dak Prescott can't have a good game, but really it's make sure CeeDee Lamb doesn't go off. And he is the sole threat because the Cowboys are so one-dimensional. I mean, they are, can I say, purposefully, intentionally one-dimensional. I mean, Dak's throwing the ball seems 40 plus times every game because they have not addressed running back. And I'm no Dak Prescott fan, and I felt he's been overrated, but he's still a good quarterback. I still consider him a top 10 quarterback. Some of the criticism is unfair, some of it is fair. When I look at the Cowboys, I don't feel that they've put enough around him. They have not put enough skilled players around him. They've done a good job building offensive lines over the years, but where's the help besides CeeDee Lamb? Where is it? You got Ezekiel Elliott, who's really been on decline for several years, and he just doesn't have much to give. So that's the 49ers approach on defense. That's their strategy. Just take care of CeeDee Lamb and don't let him have a big game. While the 49ers have the ball, even if they don't have all the weapons, they should be able to run the ball effectively on Dallas. And they just don't have a pass rush. You have no Micah Parsons, no DeMarcus Lawrence. It's run the ball for the 49ers and run it 30 plus times. Mason, Grendo. And Shanahan, get a little creative. If you have Kittle, if you have Deebo out there, make it simple. Screens, quick passes. The Cowboys don't have the ability to play tough man defense on the 49ers receivers. Even their rookie receivers, they don't have the personnel that the Chiefs or the Vikings have that have caused problems for the 49ers. The one area, though, that the Cowboys have going for them is special teams. So the Cowboys, they have to establish some kind of run on offense. They need someone to step up other than CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott can't make the terrible mistakes he has against the 49ers in the 2 games in San Francisco. And they do need to win with special teams. The 49ers' weakness is special teams, and the Cowboys' strength, obviously, is special teams, and they're going to have to win with getting a little bit on the ground on offense, someone else having to step up besides CeeDee Lamb and having a decent game, eliminate the careless turnovers, and play their usual special teams, and somehow force a turnover on defense. But I'm having a difficult time at the moment seeing where that's coming in. The 49ers just pound the Cowboys with the run, do what they've done against the Cowboys in previous games, just rattle Prescott early, and don't shoot yourself in the foot with special teams. Don't get cute. Play more conservative. Brock Purdy doesn't need to take a bunch of risks. So I'm picking the 49ers in a lower scoring game. I'll say 21 to 13. 21-13, 21-14. I don't see a lot of points because of the 49ers, all their injuries on offense, and I think the 49ers really can limit CeeDee Lamb, and the Cowboys may have to just kick more field goals. It could be 21-17, even 21-16. I know that a lot of 49er shows have been saying, well, the 49ers need to blow out the Cowboys. I don't care. Just win the game. Just win it. And you see what happens if the 49ers lose, they fall 3-5. I mean, it's over. If they're 3-5, the Cowboys, they have their bye, they fall to 3-4. They have a stiffer division. The Commanders are a surprise team, and the Eagles aren't what they were in past years, being 2022 in the first half of 2023, but you have to take them seriously. They are a playoff caliber team. I don't believe they're a Super Bowl caliber team, but they are a playoff caliber team. So there's a lot on the line for both of them being this early in the season. I'm taking the 49ers, and we're going to have a lot to talk about after the game to review. It's not going to be an all-time great matchup. It's not going to be one I imagine we're going to be talking about down the line, because at least you could say that about the playoff game in Dallas in 21, or the playoff game in San Francisco in 22, or for 49ers fans, the blowout last year. But we'll see. That's why we have to watch the games. It's why we enjoy the games. It's not about predictable outcomes. These games are hard to pick for anyone. I mean, just watching the World Series and seeing that the Dodgers go up 2-0 on the Yankees. Different sport. The games have to be played, and you have to just see the teams on the field.